Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Kevin Worthington.
And I'm Mary Wilson. We've just put the wraps on our 10th anniversary season, and we are raring to get started with year number 11 of Simply Southern.
In the weeks ahead, we've got some exciting news to share with you. But today, we're going to spend a good bit of time talking about an important issue to everyone in the U.S., healthcare.
That's right. Now, farming can be a great way of life, but it comes with its challenges, like securing affordable health coverage. Later in the show, we learn more about this struggle from one Coleman County farm family.
And I'm Stacy Little. Today in the kitchen, we're making this easy, creamy peanut butter fudge. Y'all stay tuned.
You know, Mary, when you see a group of cowboys in the movies, they're usually on horseback, riding in a cloud of dust, chasing some bad guys.
Yeah, I guess nowadays they would all be in pickup trucks.
Well, possibly, or maybe even on a tour bus. But instead of bad guys, this posse of Alabama cattle producers is in search of knowledge from fellow farmers up in Tennessee.
Raising cattle looks easy, but there's a lot more to it than meets the eye.
So we've got to check fences, we've got to check these cattle because we want to make sure that they're in good health and we're maintaining them. We got to check their nutrition status because we also want to be providing a mineral, and we got to make sure they always have access to clean, fresh water. So on a daily basis, it's not just turning them out there and checking on them every once in a while. We want to make sure that our animals they're healthy and they're being maintained properly.
Cattle are produced in every state in the country. Some places have just a few cows, while beef production is a huge industry in states like Texas, Nebraska, and Kansas.
Each year we take a tour of a different state in the United States. It's an educational opportunity for producers to go to another state, visit with other farmers and ranchers they're doing a little different practices, they're using different breeds, they're different sizes from they may be 5,000 head down to 50 head. So just going to a different state and just visiting with other farmers and ranchers and just kind of seeing what they're doing, what kind of practices they're implementing, what resources they have, and they're utilizing.
Billy Hickson raises about 450 head of cattle on his farm, along with cotton, peanuts, and chickens. He says what he's learned on these Tennessee farms will help him on his operation more than 300 miles to the south in Pike County, Alabama.
We've been to so many different places. We've had seed stock operations, stocker operations, cow-calf operations, and you just learn something new at every stop. I've been in the cattle business all my life and still haven't learned everything there is to know about the cattle industry. Nutrition is a big part of the cattle industry, and also genetics, and I've learned a lot of both of those subjects on this tour this year.
While this is Billy's first beef tour, Gerald Wallace has been on almost every one since it was started in the mid-90s.
We've been to different states, all over the north, all the way to New York, went to Reno, Nevada, and we went to Wisconsin. And during that time, we took a vacation and went all the way to Washington State and back.
In addition to what they learn on the farm tours, farmers say building friendships with other producers on the bus is also extremely valuable, especially when faced with a dilemma.
There's always something that somebody else is doing that you really hadn't thought about. And when they tell you, something, you say, hey, I can take that back to my farm and put it in practice. And I've learned some things this week that I hadn't really thought about.
Next year's tour will visit farms in Idaho. Now, their industry is slightly smaller than ours, but still comparable to Alabama.
Well, now, the climate of Idaho versus that of Alabama, very different. But I take it there are still some things that farmers could bring back and put into their operations?
Well, Mr. Wallace, that you saw in the story there, told me that on previous trips to snowy places like New York and Wisconsin, and even hotter places like Nevada and Louisiana, he's learned something on every trip and has been able to implement those lessons on his farm near Florence.
And he's been able to see a lot of the country, too, thanks to that beef tour.
True.
Coming up, when you decide to become a full-time farmer, what do you do about health coverage? For many farm families, the answer is pay pricey monthly premiums.
Farm insurance extends beyond standard homeowners coverage and can protect barns, sheds, livestock, and machinery. It allows greater flexibility in customizing coverage to specific needs. 4 main types of coverages include dwelling and personal property, farm personal property, farm outbuildings, and liability. Whatever your farm insurance needs, Alpha's got you covered. These Alpha Insights are proudly presented by Alpha Insurance.
A farmer has to live on faith. We do all we can do, but we can only control so much.
Alabama is the second largest poultry growing state in the nation, so we're trying our best to grow all the corn we can for that.
What we produce not only feeds and clothes all of the United States, but about half of what we make goes on to the world market.
We've been able to improve yields, have some things that can help us produce a better crop. I'm proud of the product we make and proud that I can say I'm an Alabama farmer.
Consider this your call to Alabama's Black Belt, home to some of the best hunting and fishing anywhere in the country. Whether you want to hunt deer, turkey, quail, or are looking to hook that trophy bass, the Alabama Black Belt's world-class outdoor recreation is second to none. If you want to take a break from the woods or the water, choose one of the premier golf courses on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail. If you're searching for your next outdoor adventure, look no further than Alabama's Black Belt.
Hey, how are you holding up?
I'm thirsty.
Well, there you go. Choose water.
I guess I'll take the water. There's another one. Alabama Extension is cool.
What's Extension?
They're like your go-to experts for everything. Gardening, nutrition, tips for our kids, farming. And hey, weren't you thinking about starting a business?
Yeah.
Extension does that.
Oh, sounds like I need to get connected.
Learn more at aces.edu.